so much for joining me at Lizard Home. These are Art Alternative pigment liners, and they are waterproof pens, and I'm going to be using the 0.5 of them. This little set comes in a 0.1, 0.3, and 0.5. And I'm going to be going over these little swatch dolls that I've drawn. I was inspired by James Burke, who does the most fantastic videos on YouTube, and he drew swatch dolls, I think, for the first time, but so many people are doing them now, and I absolutely love them. And I've drawn these, and I'm using them to swatch out some new watercolor swatches. Well, they're not new. I actually bought them at the end of 2018, and I've had these swatches sitting in a tin since then. I've used a few of them in some pictures and some little bits and pieces, but I thought it would be fun to share them with you. Rivervale watercolors are handcrafted watercolors, and I've got quite a lot of dot cards that I bought, and the Riverdale shop, the lady's name that runs it is Elizabeth Comer, and she runs a super shop, and she mailed them to me from her Etsy shop to South Africa. She's from Arkansas in the United States. Obviously, at this present time, we wouldn't be able to get them, but hopefully when the world is normal again, we will be able to get things like this again. I have some more that I might do another video of if you enjoy this. So please let me know in the comments if you enjoy this video and if you'd like me to do another swatch doll video, because I've got so many watercolors that I'd love to swatch out. Before I go further, let me please encourage you also to subscribe to my channel and to like this video. Oh, this poor girl has a bit of a wooden leg, which I try to fix up at the end. I've done these very much in a fun little style, nothing realistic at all. And I really enjoyed drawing these little things and then coloring them all in with the watercolors. So I'm sorry I've had to speed this video up, but I think it would have probably been as long as anything if I hadn't. I mean, it took me probably about 3 days to record. So here are my dot cards. I've got them in a tin, and they're wrapped in cling wrap, and then each one has its name on the back written there. I can't always read her handwriting, but I've decided I'm not really choosing colors. I'm just looking at what comes to my hand, putting them. This little palette of mine has got 10 holes, and I'm just putting a color per hole, and I want to try and use as many colors as I can without rhyme or reason. So to start with, I sprayed them with some water to activate them, and then I have my jar of water, and I start painting. I just decided I'm going with it. I'm going to try and be outside the box. It doesn't have to be skin color, doesn't have to be hair color, it can be anything. So I went ahead, and I must say they activated very nicely, and they came so well onto the paper. I was going out of the lines with this brush, so I changed to a smaller one. So far I've used Cobalt Turquoise Deep, Burnt Umber Gold, and now I'm going to use Lamp Black. I later on, I made a note of the colors, but I actually became confused, so I won't be able to tell you what each color is. These first 10 I can tell you what they are, and after that I sped the video up so fast that it becomes quite difficult to know what is what, because I began to think the video would never ever end. So after the Lamp Black, I used this gorgeous color, which is Red Ochre Deep, and I must say I would love to buy some more of this. It's a gorgeous color, and it went on so smoothly and creamily. And then this is Pearl Red, another lovely color. I really like these watercolors. I think they're fabulous. So then we come along to verdigris green hue, which is a more transparent color and less heavily pigmented. And I suppose that's because it's a hue. So it is dulled down slightly. If only one could really paint this quickly. It takes such a long time to do things. You'll see I kind of gave shadow around her leg to fix her up. Then citron nickel yellow for her hair. And then I used Ercolano red, which is actually quite a nice skin color. As for a kind of rosy Caucasian skin, I think it turned out as quite a pretty color. And this is Porfiry Violet, and also quite a nice dark skin color. Much to my surprise, I actually expected this to be more pink and sort of more out of the box when I saw the name. So now we're onto a beautiful Prussian blue. Just look at the depth of that pigment. Oh, I get so excited about watercolors. I absolutely love them. Just gorgeous, gorgeous pigment. And now I'd used the first 10 colors and I'm putting my next 10 into this little palette. And off I go. And with this lot, I actually became confused because I couldn't remember what I'd used where. So I'll see if I can remember some of them. Oh yes, that one. No. I'm not sure what that was. I'm really not sure. It was some orange. I think it was benzimida orange, but I could be wrong, so I'm not going to give you the rest of the names. On this whole piece, I have actually used 37 of these dot cards, so 37 colors, and much to my surprise and delight, it actually didn't look too terrible at the end. So I was surprised with all these random colors going together that they just were fine. I went from one side to the other to try and let things dry, and then I would, between swatches of 10, I would allow the painting to dry as well. And there's enough on each of these little dot cards for me to do some more. This was a mistake. This poor green girl, the little child, she's obviously been on lockdown for ages, and she's been doing what her creator me has, and been eating and eating and eating, and so now she feels ill. That was a bad choice for a skin color. Poor child. Anyway, she is green, and that is that. So I'm going to put on a bit of music for a while I finish coloring these in, and then I'll chat to you again later. Just one more little quick, sorry to do this YouTube thing, but to ask you, if you enjoy this video at all, please share it with your friends, and possibly, if at all possible, if you haven't subscribed already, subscribe to the video, because subscribe to my channel, because I really am desperately trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. I really want to be able to do that so that I can make this channel a more viable proposition. It does take up a lot of time to do these videos, and if you enjoy them, that would be so appreciated. Don't you love that yellow? Okay, so I'll stop yabbering and put some music on for a while, and then I'll be back with you shortly. made a mistake. This poor dog or cat or whatever he is supposed to be, I think I started off with him as a doggy and then I decided maybe it was a kitty, I'm not sure. But I didn't like the black, so then I tried to do dots on his face with the black and they looked stupid. And I absolutely hated how that turned out. So at the end of the day, after it had dried, I did his face black as well, which was a bit better. And then when I do doodling later on, I kind of tried to fix that up. So this umbrella, I think, is a lovely color, and that's a phthalo green, which is really pretty. So then, once I had finished all my dolls, I wanted to do the background, and I decided that I wanted to do the background in a kind of a neutral color, and I used my Zig Clean Color brush pens, and this is a light gray 091, and these illustrations are drawn on cold press watercolor paper. It's a fairly inexpensive Canson XL paper, but it is watercolor paper. This brush pen, I don't know if it was a bit dry or what, but I was struggling with it in the beginning. I've done this at actual speed for a while so that you can see how I did this and what it looks like as you're putting it on, and then you activate it with water and it smooths out. What a pleasure. So as proper watercolor, I haven't used these Zig watercolor brush pens in quite a while, and I don't remember them being so dry before, so perhaps they've dried out in my cupboard a bit, or I hope not, because they were also fairly costly. And I was sitting and looking and trying to decide how to go about this, and also having a swig of my tea as usual. Elizabeth can't go very far without her tea. My actual name, by the way, is Elizabeth, not Liz, but ever since school, everybody has called me Liz. For a while, I was Lizzie, Lilybits, Beth. I've been all of them. My dad always called me Little Bits. I think that was the Queen used to be named as Little Bits. I think it was, I was born around about the time of her coronation. These paints, as you can see where I go, they actually lift. I'm not sure if all of them do because I haven't tested it, but quite a number of them, as I go close to them with the water, they lift very quickly. So I think that blue you can see kind of gets into there a little bit. But so I did the whole of the rest of this background at the top part in the gray, and I quite enjoyed this. This was, for me, a nice mindless activity. The whole swatching is such a nice thing to do. It's actually something I'd really recommend if you've got watercolor paints and you feel like playing with them, then go for it. I first tried putting water down there and then the clean color brush pen on top of it, and it was quite smooth but very, very pale. You can see it starting to flow a bit better again. So I'm not sure, that was a sped up version of me showing that this is pale green, and I do apologize for that quick blurry bit. And I went over the flowers with the pen because, again, this is a little bit of my personality type. I get sick of something, I now want it to be finished. And then I filled in the flowers with jelly rolls, and I first did some doodling. Did doodling with a white jelly roll and with a golden jelly roll, and then I think I used an orange or some metallic color as well. I'm still not sure if this is a dog or a cat, I will be honest. Why don't you vote? You can all tell me what you think he could be. He's got a lead, so he's maybe a dog. He's a morphic creature. This cat also, I should have kept it all one color. I thought I was being clever and using lots of colors, but hey, we live and learn. It looks a bit better with the doodling, kind of putting it together. And the other kitty I decided just to leave because I quite liked that kitty cat. And then I've done my doodling. The gold didn't show up all that well. And I had a little bit of trouble with this gel pen after a while. I must say, everybody always talks about this particular make of gel pen, and I can't remember what it is now, but it kept drying on me and I was getting very irritated. So those doodle lines didn't come out as I expected. That's a jelly roll. What a pleasure, all juicy and came out well. And the doodles do help a bit, I must say. So I just did those to kind of add a little bit of interest. I didn't doodle on absolutely everything, and then used my jelly rolls. I think jelly rolls are my favorite gel pen, and they're so sort of relaxing to play with. But all in all, I so enjoyed doing this little picture, and I hope you've enjoyed watching it, and I thank you so much for joining me for this time. If you've managed to watch the whole video till the end, that's quite something, because I know many people, myself included, sort of stop halfway. I tried to make the green girl feel better by giving her some flowers on her dress. I hope it helped. I thought of giving her rosy cheeks, but there we are. That's the end, and there's the picture. Thanks so much for joining me, and I hope you'll join me in the next video. Bye-bye now.